Welcome to Inside the Realtor Studio, interviews with industry leaders and professionals in real estate. The Tucson Association of REALTORS turns 100 this year, 1921 to 2021. We honor our history by conducting interviews with the past presidents of the Tucson Association of REALTORS. We'll learn a bit of history by talking to the experts themselves. Today's past president is Tom Sloyan, who served us in 2008. Tom is a Tucson native. He attended Saul Point Catholic High School and attended the University of Arizona through 1975. Tom was first licensed in real estate in 1979. He has achieved the E-Pro, the SFR, and SRES designations from the National Association. Tom has worked at various real estate brokerages in his long career, most currently at RE/MAX Excalibur since 2010. Some of Tom's many milestones include graduate of the Greater Tucson Leadership Program. 2004 to 2009, he served on the board of directors for the Tucson Association in various roles. In 2008, he was elected president of the Tucson Association of REALTORS. In 2014, he was chair of the Arizona REALTORS Legislative and Political Affairs Committee at the Arizona REALTORS. In 2016, he was elected president of the Tucson REALTORS Charitable Foundation. And in 2019 was awarded Realtor Emeritus. Please welcome to Inside the Realtor Studio, Tom Sloyan. Welcome, Tom.
Welcome, thank you.
You betcha. Well, let's start with a little bit of information before you were president. So where did you first hang your license?
My first license I hung with a company called Huff Realty, and it was located at on Speedway near Swan. The broker at that time was Mac McElliott.
Oh, wow. See?
It was.
And what drew you to real estate?
Well, you know, I'll tell you what, I had been out of town for about, just about a year. I was traveling around and doing stuff. And when I came back to Tucson, I came down Oracle Road. And within that year's period, what happened, I just went, wow, you know. I was working, I worked for my brother in his construction company and stuff. And I decided, you know what, this is not for me. But so I thought, you know, well, let me see what I can do in real estate. I think I can do that. In 1979, I got my license and I started. And I remember the first thing, Matt comes up to me and he goes, "There's your phone," and he walked away. That was my real estate training. I was very fortunate to have a lady that kind of took me under her wing and guided me through. She asked me if I wanted to really do this as a job, and I said, yeah, I really want to do this. And I had kind of longish hair and a mustache, and you know, I'd go to the office in Levi's and stuff, and she goes, 3 things you have to do before the end of this week. She goes, get a haircut, shave your mustache, and you have to wear at least a tie and a dress shirt and dress pants. That's what she told me. She says, if you want to be a professional, that's what you have to do. So I said, well, okay. And I did that. And she helped me through, and she was a great mentor for me. And it helped me a lot on that. And you know,
that being shown the phone and that was it. That was kind of typical for many brokerages.
It was, you know, and I look at the past, and I think Bob Lopez had RSL red carpet. In hindsight, I probably should have gone there because he had a great training program and everything. But you know, I made it. I just went through the hard knocks.
Can you describe the technology of the day?
Well, the technology of the day was the MLS book. That was the technology. We had no computers at that time. It
Yeah.
was the real estate book. They actually had the marketing sessions were held, and that was a big thing back then. The marketing sessions were held in the basement at Black Angus on Broadway.
Mhm.
And there would be about 400 agents there
Wow.
on that. And that's where you pitched new listings. You had a buyer, and, people would come up to you and go, I'm getting a listing, and you had a buyer for it. And
Wow.
that was,
How long did those meetings last?
oh gosh, they were good 2-3 hours.
Wow.
Those marketing meetings. And I mean, that's the way you got, you found out about brand new listings and stuff. I mean, they would have the book once a month. I think it was once a month, and then they'd have weekly inserts on that. Then it became daily inserts. They kind of got better and did daily, but that was the technology. That was, and the fax machine just had started coming in.
Okay.
On that.
If you think about it, the logistics alone of trying to deliver those listing sheets and that across town to all the different brokerages, that must have been daunting.
They had a guy that he would bring the books in, and then, he'd bring the updates in, and you would just, you'd kind of put them in your book and on that. But that was the technology. That was.
So in your real estate career, because you've been at several different brokerages along the way, for your business, have you worked alone, or have you worked in partnership with anyone, or had a team?
Well, I did. I worked alone until, probably 1999, I think. And that's when I brought on a buyer's agent. It was at the time, it may have been a little earlier than that. I kind of took a break. I was on the board and the MLS board prior to that, but I took a break when my sons started high school, and I said, I'm not doing anything while they're in high school. So during that time period, I worked by myself. I was doing, probably at the peak of my thing, I think I did 65 transactions one year by myself. Wow.
Yeah.
And what I did is once my son started high school too, I went, God, I was never home. I literally worked 60 to 80 hours a week.
Wow.
And I just decided, I have to stop this. And I hired my assistant. His name was Bill Dahl, and we were partners until 2000 and what was it, 2019, I think. In the 2019 he retired, or 2020, I forget which one. December he retired, and so I have two other people that I'm kind of they're doing the buyers. I just do mostly listings.
Sure.
I think in the 20 years that Bill was with me, I think I sold 5 buyers during that whole time. I gave all the buyers over to him.
Yeah.
And it was, I just told him I would do that, and I did that. And we had a great partnership for 20 years.
Yeah, it's a little scary when your buyer's reps are retiring before you do.
Oh, I know. Well, he was a little bit old.
Oh, okay.
Not much, but just a little bit.
Well, let's shift over to your presidency now. And
Okay.
You were in office in 2008. So we were in the Tucson Boulevard building at that point in time. We have to keep in mind that these are going to be viewed for years to come. So do you want to give a little description for the building and how it worked for you and what you thought about it?
Well, the building was, it was a huge upgrade from what we had over on Swan Road. We needed something larger, and we had that. And, you know, the boardroom was great because it allowed you, I mean, we were crammed into a little room over on Swan Road, and it was, you know, the boardroom was good. You know, the officers, you know, the CEO and all the people, they had their offices and stuff on that. It was packed over there on that. And we had a great meeting room, you know, the large room.
It was a nice enough building, just not large enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a nice enough building. It was just, we were just outgrowing it is what we did. I mean, there was nothing, you know, wrong with the building, but we just outgrew it.
Yeah.
We were growing like crazy, I think.
And who was your CEO?
The CEO was Rick Hodges at the time.
All right. And what was the staff like? Who all was there? Or did we have all departments covered? Or
well, Sherry Meadows was the assistant to Rick at that time. The government affairs was Ann Hotchko. She was excellent. She was only there for a couple of years. She was just excellent. I tell my wife what I would do is when I had to give speeches and stuff, I would do a big outline of what I wanted to cover, and I'd give it to Ann. She would put it all together for me and make me look good.
She went on to greener pastures, I take it?
She did. She went back to DC area, and she got married since then, and I think she's just a mom now, I think.
Yeah. Never say just a mom, yeah.
Yeah, well, not just a mom. I shouldn't say that. It's just being a mom is tough.
It is, especially these days. Yeah. So how did you get involved in association leadership?
Oh gosh, you know, I tell the story. I got involved my very first, I think it was in the 1980s. It was my very first committee was the rodeo committee. Jim Chumbler was the chair of that, and I did that. And then I got involved with the Young Realty Committee at that time. It was called, and then the Young Realty Committee.
Oh, so before YPN, we had this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We had a committee, and we did a bunch of stuff on that. We used to do people's houses, fix older people's houses up, you know, the outside and stuff.
Nice.
Do stuff like that. But it was good. And then somebody asked me, they said, well, why don't you run for the board of directors? And I did, and I got elected. That's when the board was the Association TAR and MLS. You were elected, you were on both boards, and they did both board meetings at the same day. If you can imagine that. It was 5 to 6 hour day.
I'll bet.
On that. So, and
now that changed by the time you became president. Then you were only doing
yes, it had. Thank goodness.
Because I was on your board at that point in time. Yeah.
No, they changed. I forget what year they changed that, and that was the best move they probably ever did. I mean, it was just
good for all concerned, huh?
Yes.
So now, did you have anyone that was a mentor for you, or somebody you looked up to in association leadership?
Oh gosh, mentor. You know, I had quite a few. I think Gary Best was a good leader, and John Hamner at the time. You know, he was actually my broker for a while.
Oh, okay.
At Remax, and I looked up to those two, and there was others. You know, Bill Arnold was always, you know, I always liked Bill, and he was an inspiration, and on that. But others, you know, I even had others that, you know, Lisa Suarez. It was, you know, I guess I could have been more blunt, but Lisa kind of, I saw how she was and kind of took direction from her. So.
Oh yeah, she's a good gal.
Yeah.
So what do you think was your biggest accomplishment during your year as president?
Well, you know, one thing I was talking, and my wife said, well, I think I pushed for free education.
Oh, okay.
on that. I think that was one of the things we pushed for, and I think we did the GRI. It didn't all happen all at once, but I think I kind of pushed for that, for to be educated. I felt it was very important for our members to be educated, and I know they did the GRI for quite a while. I don't know if they still do that with the association.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they do.
Okay.
The state runs it, but they do it in conjunction with our association too.
Okay, yeah. But that's, I kind of pushed for that to get people, to know that, and also pushed for people to volunteer, become members and to become, try to, get on a committee. If you want to, I used to have people call me, I don't know if you did, and rant and rave about this. And I said, well, why don't you join that committee, and then you can change stuff on that, just don't sit there and do that. And, I know in 2008 is when the market started the downward trend on that. And a good friend of mine, Vinny Yakinen, he's with Long Realty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you became president and you destroyed the market, Tom. I got in trouble with that.
Well, actually, we'll blame the guy before you, because I think it actually started in 07, not 08.
07, I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're very good friends. So, it was just, that. And, one of the things I remember is we were having something and people were all getting all downtrodden. And I told them, I said, get out, start calling your sphere of influence and start calling people that you don't know.
Yeah.
And after I said that, I had about 4 brokers come up to me and go, thank you for saying that. I said, you just got to keep plugging away.
Yeah. The one thing we old timers will tell anybody who's been in it, real estate is cyclical. And it doesn't always stay up and it doesn't always stay down. So, be prepared for change.
Change, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The free education, that is such a wonderful thing that you did, because really and truly, I've told kids when I've been in management that I said, there's no excuse for you not to have your CE credits, because TAR gives them to you for free. Yes. As long as you pay attention, so you just have to put in the time and there's no dollars out of pocket. What a great deal.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was thinking, it gives people the opportunity, and on that, it gives people opportunity to go down to the association's building and see where we're at, actually.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some people that probably never stepped a foot in there.
Yeah, true. I don't doubt it. Now, what people may not know is that you also served as president of the Realtors Charitable Foundation. I believe you were the second president once the board became, were you the first? First, okay.
I was the first president.
All right.
Yes.
I lose track. When the board broke off and became a freestanding board, which happened in 2016. So, and you were the president that year. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was something. I was on the charitable foundations. There used to be part of it that was, we had a section of that kind of gave the funds out to charities and stuff. And I was on that committee on that committee that actually gave funds out, went over stuff. So when they asked me if I wanted to be on the board, I think Eric Gibbs was president that year.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was.
And he asked me if I would do that. And I said, yes, I would.
Yeah. Good choice.
That. So it was just, it was just a start. We just started, and I bet, were you on the committee that year?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Yeah. And the thing was we all learned, because we didn't know really what we were doing. And I know we had some people that did the bylaws and started doing that stuff. So we had a way to go.
Yeah.
On that. We did a good job, I think. And
oh yeah.
Presidents after me have done an excellent job, and it's evolved into a great charitable foundation.
And it's always a work in progress. That's
Yes,
for
it
sure.
is.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And lots of structural things during my year as that it's like, okay, we know that we do all these things, but we don't have it A, written down, or B,
Yeah, well,
described. So let's try to do that now, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, when you first start, we're just kind of sitting there going, what are we going to do? So we kind of learned as we go, and it's still evolving on
Yeah.
that.
Now, during all of this time, did you have involvement with committees at AAR or NAR?
Well, I did, when you're president and the president elected, you're, I don't know, you're an NAR director.
Mm-hmm.
On that. So I did that on NAR. I really didn't get involved in it, and I was on committees at AAR on that. I was on the LPA, as a director, and then I chaired that one year.
Nice.
On that up at AAR. That was that was an education. Believe me, that was really an education of how things work at state level.
Oh yeah.
On that, and I was always going, why don't they do this? Why don't they do, and then you find out, well, it's a progress you have to do.
For those who don't know, they allow you to pick your path when you're going through that, because you're going to be reviewing the bills and that are all coming through. So what were your categories? Do you remember that you had selected, that you watched?
Well, it was the LPA, that was I thought the LPA was the one where the other committee, I forget, there was two committees at that time.
Okay, could be.
Maybe they've changed that since then.
There's one where you get on it and you pick your three categories. In my case, I picked land, water, and air. So those are the three I picked. And
I was on that committee for 1 year.
Yeah,
and that's I don't remember.
Baptism by fire hose.
Yeah, and then I got on the committee where that committee brought all the stuff to the LPA committee.
Okay.
And then the LPA committee, you didn't do the grunt work and stuff as the other committee did.
Right.
You just looked at what they brought to you and decided, is this good or is this not good?
See, and for those who are looking into association leadership, you just had a small course, which was great.
Yeah. And it's okay.
That's what we wanted to do here. So any other thoughts about your terms in either one of your presidencies?
Any what thoughts?
Oh yeah, well, either one.
It was kind of baptism by fire back then, and hopefully they're giving the more the leadership more education, probably, and helping them figure out what they're really supposed to do and stuff. And I know when I was president, there was some stuff that I probably would have done different with hindsight, but there were some things I didn't know, and that. And I think it's important for the association to let the incoming president know if there's any weird things going on and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which they didn't do back then. And it's very important to be able to know, so you can go, oh, okay, I have to watch out for this.
As I mentioned earlier, I sat on Tom's board, and one thing I will tell you is he runs one of the most efficient meetings that because I was with several presidents along the way, and I always give Tom credit because he ran them, they ran on time, and everything got done, and it was perfect. So that's
one of the things. Yeah, one of the things that if you're going to be on a board, be on the board. Be prepared when you walk into that meeting.
Yeah.
Don't walk into that meeting and go, oh gosh, I'm just reading it for the first time.
Yeah.
If that's the way you're going to be, you shouldn't be on the board. That's my view anyway.
Agreed.
Be prepared when you walk in there.
Yeah.
On that. And keep the committee work to a minimum in the board meetings. That's not our job.
No. So believe it or not, we are about at the end of our interview. And the way I like to end the interview is I do 7 quick questions and I'm hoping for 7 quick answers.
Okay.
So what's your favorite word?
Oh, gosh. My favorite word?
Mhm.
Prospecting.
Yeah. And what's your least favorite word?
Prospecting. They both are. You have to do it, but I hated doing it.
There you go. That's perfect. And speaking spiritually, creatively, or emotionally, what turns you on?
Oh gosh. You know what turns me on, I guess, is people that are committed to what they're doing and staying committed and being prepared. And if you make a mistake, live up to it and then move on. That's it.
And what turns you off?
My job, I'm a sales associate right now.
So that's no wait. I asked what turns you off.
What turns me off? Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, didn't fit.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
That's all right.
I heard something different. What turns me off is probably people that are dishonest.
Okay. And what profession other than real estate would you have liked to have attempted?
Oh gosh.
I've had some very interesting answers on this along the way.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, I always wanted to be a sports announcer, like in baseball.
There you go.
Like Dizzy Dean and Pee Wee Reese.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if you know who they are, but
I do. Yeah.
yeah. That was that's what I always dreamt of doing.
And is there a profession you're super glad you didn't attempt?
Yeah, it was finishing the construction business, being in the construction business. I was good at what I did, but I hated every minute of it.
Oh, you made the right move then.
Yeah.
So in closing, if you could do a shout out to anyone, living or not, in the real estate community, who would it be and why?
I would do a shout out to my mentor, Belle Edberg. Her name was Belle Bremer at the time, and she passed just a few years ago, but she helped me. I would have never made it unless it was for her. And I implore other people, help somebody out when you can. You have to remember when you were brand new, who helped you, help somebody else that needs it.
Ah, those are great words. Perfect words for us to end on. Tom, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was
I
great.
appreciate it. Okay.